So we finished first term and we're coming over to second term, same year 10 governments. So if you look carefully well here, you will see what we intend to cover this term, from the rule of law down to delegated legislation, right? So I'm going to correct this, delegated legislation. So let's jump into the topic straight away. Our first topic today is the rule of law, and we're going to cover the following, right? So the first one is explain the term rule of law, identify the principles of the rule of law, list and discuss factors that can ensure the implementation of the rule of law. Now, what is the rule of law, right? Let's play around with these words. Let's just play around and see. The rule of law, the rule of the law. The law is ruling. The law of the land is in charge. So when I say the rule of law means the supremacy of the law over everybody in the land, both the rulers and the ruled. Does it make sense to you? It's clear, right? So the law is the king, and every other person must abide by its dictates. Now, this theory was propounded by A.V. Dicey, where he was trying to ensure that everybody must obey the law of the land so that we can curtail the power of kings and other strong institutions in our society. So that's the idea of the reason why the principle of the rule of law came to be. It was propounded by a British jurist, A.V. Dicey, right? If if you look at what he says there, he says those entrusted with the administration of the country should rule or exercise their authority in accordance with the established laws of the land. It's very important so that there won't be room for issues like dictatorship and the likes, or misusing of the law and the likes. So what are the basic principles of the rule of law? Equity before the law. All men are equal before the law. The law is above everybody, and the law looks down on all of us. We are all equal before it. Nobody is above the law. Therefore, the law is impartiality. Right? The law treats everybody fairly, regardless of your status in the society. Now, the rights of the individual. This principle states that the citizens of a country should enjoy some basic fundamental human rights that should never be taken away from them. And if violated, they could seek redress in the court of law. Other principles of the rule of law include the following. There should be enough law to guide the actions of the government and citizens so that law and order will be maintained in the society. So the law must prevail over the actions of the rulers and the led. And to avoid the breakdown of law and order in a society, there must be law enforcement agencies as well to protect the law. And there should be no government influence on the press. The press should not be gagged. They are the watchdog of the democratic system. And there must be legal limitations to the actions of government. Government should not act arbitrarily, right? And let's look at factors that can ensure the successful operation of the rule of law. There should be public trials, right? Not secret trials, so that everybody can see what happened. Everybody can see, everybody can see that the law is just, right? When it is secret, you don't know what happened. You can't vouch for whatever that happened there. But if it is open, it makes people believe in the system. There is transparency. Now, the press must be free and not gagged, not restricted. The press, we regard the press as the watchdog of democracy. So they must be free so that they can report judiciously and independently. Now, the presence of democratic or political system in a country facilitates the rule of law. Political systems involve the presence of civil society. We have issues like popular participation, right? So in politics, all these political systems, all these political ideals must be existing. These are some of the factors that ensure successful operation of the rule of law. The judiciary must be independent. They must not be under the influence of the executive or the legislative. And citizens should be granted the right to appeal against any judgment they are not comfortable with. They should be able to seek redress in the court of law. And there should be no delayed justice, because delayed justice can lead to denied justice, right? So whenever a case comes to court, it should be settled as and when due. People who are accused before the law should have lawyers to defend them, and they should be capable of having their time in the court of law where they can defend themselves, right? Now, to avoid tyranny, checks and balances should be adopted by the government so that the organs of government can watch each other to avoid abuse of the rule of law. And there must be constitutions that governs all in the land. This constitution must be rigid and flexible, right? So I'm going to rest my case here. There are a lot of factors that can ensure the full operation of the rule of law. Now, there are some factors that can also limit the application of the rule of law. Factors that can limit, number one, state of emergency. A nation can declare state of emergency if there is a national tragedy so that they can put things in check. And when they do that, it can affect your right to move around, your freedom of speech. So they are trying to bypass that rule of law. They are trying to act above the law, right? In order to protect the populace. So that's why it's one of the factors that can limit the rule of law. So the rule of law protects your fundamental human rights. So the state can withdraw your rights in order to protect the states in general, in order to protect everybody living in the land. They can withdraw your rights of movement, your rights to worship, your rights to protest as well. So the type of government in power can also limit the application of the rule of law. For instance, if you have monarchy, if you have a military system, then there's no need talking about the rule of law. The judiciary must not be partial or lack independence, right? This is one of the limitations of the rule of law that can limit the rule of law. If they are partial, if they are not independent. Now, when you have special administrative tribunals, right, who adopt systems that suit them to address court issues, then it is not right. See, special or administrative tribunals who adopt special system of trial different from that of the ordinary courts, right? For example, during the military era, you can be tried in a court where nobody can come to defend you. These are what we regard as the special administrative tribunals, and you can easily be sentenced to death, right? So take note of these points. So poverty, illiteracy, ignorance can make men not to know their rights. So they can't even seek redress in the court of law. Diplomatic immunity also makes some people above the law. They can't be searched at the airport. You can't search their vehicles. You can't even sue them or arraign them before the courts. Diplomats or like ambassadors, even presidents of some countries as well, they're above the law, right? So I'm going to stop here. You see, we'll have a lot and lots of factors that can limit the application of the rule of law. So go through them, take a good look at them, try as much as possible to understand what they stand for. If you are not sure of any, or if you feel you need some clarifications, meet me in the comment section. I'm going to bail you out and help as and when due.